Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Hurricane Game Day, presented by Williamson Automotive. I'm your host, Joe Zagacki, and coming up on our show, we'll be hearing from University of Miami basketball coaches Jim Larrañaga and Katie Meyer as we are into ACC conference play. But first, the University of Miami football team finished the year with a flurry. 5 straight wins, including a bowl victory for the first time in 10 years as Miami defeated West Virginia in Orlando at the Russell Athletic Bowl by a score of 35-14. Let's take a look at those highlights brought to you by UL Sports Medicine. We'll get you back in the game. We are all set for football. Miami and West Virginia from the Russell Athletic Bowl, Camping World Stadium. And the journey begins. Here comes the correction. He rolls to the right side. Looking to run, and he does. To the 35, he's got the first down. Hit from the side, the ball might have popped out into it. Ball is loose. Miami says they have it, and they do. Hurricanes recover. Chad Thomas hit him. He's going to throw near side. Amon Richards has it. He cuts out to the 40. He's at the 35, breaks the tackle at the 30. Amon Richards, middle of the field. Across the field to the 15 to the 10. One block at the 5. Amon Richards goes all the way for a Miami touchdown. Standing up, zigzagging across the field. Just inside, far left hash mark. On second and goal, Hyatt takes. Play fake, gonna throw. End zone, Malcolm Lewis! Touchdown! Underneath the goalpost. Got his foot down. Howard to throw against a 4-man rush. Here comes the pressure, and he's dropped back at the 15-yard line. Freshman Joe Jackson brings him down. Looking for the end zone. Barrios is open. He's got it for a touchdown! Barrios goes up in the air and makes a twirling catch for a touchdown, 5 yards deep in the end zone. It's a 26-yard strike from Kyan of Rexton Barrios. Njoku to the right side. Njoku breaks the tackle at the 20. He's to the 10-5. Njoku dives, end zone, touchdown! 23 yards. Mark Walton again drills him at the 21-yard line. Oh, it is a pass. Oh my goodness! What a play! What a tackle! Miami 31, West Virginia 14. The Hurricanes win the Russell Athletic Bowl. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day, everybody, presented by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki joined now by University of Miami head basketball coach Jim Larrañaga. And Coach, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Joe.
All right, we're off to a start in the ACC season, and your first couple of games, a great home win against North Carolina State. That was a good way to start things off on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, get a win over a very talented North Carolina State team with perhaps the best freshman in the country in Dennis Smith. He scored 21, but I thought our defense overall, Joe, was just absolutely terrific from start to finish. We defended well, we rebounded well, we shared the ball very, very well, and I'm very, very happy that we got off to a good start at home. We had a nice crowd on hand. Hopefully we'll have those the sellout crowds that we are already sold out, but we need everybody to come and cheer us on. but that was a great home court win to start conference play.
You've won 21 straight games at home, and if you want to be an NCAA tournament team, you have to have a great home court advantage. You do have Notre Dame coming in. We'll talk about the Irish in a moment, but the home court is so valuable in college basketball.
Well, you saw in our next game at Syracuse, Syracuse had lost at Boston College, didn't play particularly well in Boston, but came home, I thought, played a terrific game. They were really ready. They were very sharp. And we weren't quite as sharp. We weren't terrible, but we weren't making shots. We didn't make free throws. We were 2 for 10 from the foul line, Joe. What's that all about? And, when a team is shooting the ball as well as Syracuse did, and a team like Miami, we didn't shoot the ball as well as we're capable of. The difference is we lost a tough road game. But you got to give Syracuse credit. They came home, started the new year with a great win over us, and then played great against Pittsburgh. They had Pittsburgh down 24 at halftime of their next game at home. So the teams in the ACC are all very talented. It's a very deep league. It's the teams that are picked at the bottom are every bit as good as the teams in the middle, and the teams in the middle are every bit as good as the teams at the top. There's not much difference between teams. It's how well you play that night.
You have a very young team, but your 3 veteran players, Davon Reed, Kamari Murphy, and Jaquan Newton, it seems to me, because they've been through so many battles, they play the game in a quiet fashion. They give you good leadership, and they're very calm on the floor. Is that what you need from them?
Well, those 3 guys are the tri-captains and do a great job of leading the team. And we need them to play well every night, because young guys very typically are inconsistent. So you need your veterans to be very consistent performers.
We talk about the home court. Notre Dame is coming in for a big game. They're 3-0 in the conference and playing very well.
Notre Dame is a very unusual team. I'm not sure there's anybody like them in the country. They spread you out and shoot threes. They're terrific moving without the ball. They drive the ball to the basket very well. They have Bonzi Colson as their leading scorer. He's about 6'6". He plays much bigger than that. He's a handful, whether he plays the 4 or the 5. He's a hard matchup. Kamari Murphy will be given that responsibility. Kamari's done a very good job defensively throughout his career. He's doing a terrific job this year. But even Kamari will have his hands full with Bonzi Colson.
And Vesturia, I think he's in his 10th year. He's been there for a long time, a really quality shooter.
Well, I think that's one of the things that Mike Bray, their head coach, has been able to do. He's been able to stay old, experienced. And last year when we played them, their point guard, Jerian Grant, was really a veteran player. Now Steve Vesturia and VJ Beecham, seems like they've been around for a very long time. Bonzi Colson is now a junior. So those guys are very impactful in the game. They've been through the ACC wars for several years now. They're very confident in themselves. They're in the top 25 and have basically been in the top 25 throughout their careers. So it's a very confident group, and we're going to have our hands full Thursday night. I hope our fans will turn out and cheer on the Hurricanes.
I call this the Big East portion of your schedule, because you played Syracuse, then Notre Dame is coming in, then on the road to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has 2 of the top scorers in the country, 2 of the top scorers in the ACC, and those guys make life miserable for the defense. What we need to do is really become a lockdown defensive team. We're pretty darn good at the defensive end of the floor, but to have success in the ACC, we have to improve. At the same time, the thing that impacts our defense is how well we're playing offense, because it's a lot better and easier to play great defense after you've put the ball in the basket, Joe. If you're constantly missing or turning it over, it's a lot harder to get back defensively and play great D.
After Pittsburgh, then you do really get into the heart of the ACC, because it's the triangle. Games are at Wake Forest and then the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, I don't want to look that far down the road, Joe. Our schedule is so tough. In fact, I saw one of the reports said we have the toughest conference schedule of anybody, because we have to play teams like Duke twice.
Well, the immediate concern, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and Pittsburgh, 2 big games coming up, and coach, the very best of luck in those 2 games.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Jim Larrañaga. Stay with us. When we come back here on Hurricane Game Day, we will visit with Hurricanes women's coach Katie Meyer right here on Hurricane Game Day. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day, everyone, presented by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki, joined by University of Miami women's head coach Katie Meyer. Coach, welcome to the show, and your team is off to a 2-2 start inside league play. Right. It's been a tough schedule so far.
Right. Oh yeah, and that's why we all came to Miami. You know, we've had ranked opponent after ranked opponent after ranked opponent, and did it in the non-conference as well. So we're battle tested, and we've got a heck of a lot of season left.
We have Virginia Tech coming up. We'll get to that game in a moment. Let's look back. The first 4 games, you had Florida State here, Notre Dame here, and then you had 2 wins on the road.
Right. It's the ACC. Who do you play, where do you play them, and when? And this stretch right now, we only have 2 days in between 4 games in a row. So that's a tough stretch, and all of the opponents are ranked. So winning at Pittsburgh was huge, and I mean, it wasn't just an ACC road win. It was, we controlled it. And so that was great because those are rare. I mean, 30-point on the road is rare, and that's a nice ball club they won last night. And then that NC State game was just crucially important. So much was on the line. They had beaten both Florida State and Notre Dame, and then we were playing them at home, and they hadn't lost at home in a long time. So put our backs against the wall and really responded. And then these home games that we've lost, they're great teams, but you have them at home, and you got to get one of them, and we haven't gotten them yet.
How was your heart after the North Carolina State game?
I really trusted my team that entire game. They were dialed in. We got knocked down real early in that game, and we were down by like 14 or 15 in the first quarter, and it wasn't that we weren't playing well. NC State just had this, they have a special quality to their team this year. They go on great runs. But we answered, and that was awesome. I thought Laura Cornelius and Kiana Hayes played 2 of the better basketball games they've played all season.
The Florida State game went back and forth in the first half.
Right.
You made a great run at the end of the first half, and
right.
Jessica Thomas hits a big shot. You take the momentum in
Right.
to the locker room, but Florida State came out and played pretty well in the third quarter.
They did. They played hungrier than us in the third quarter, and certainly a lot more physical. They are an interesting team. People are having a really hard time scoring against them. They have incredible athleticism, but they really are committed on the defensive end the entire 30 seconds. They don't mind playing defense for 30 seconds. So we had to go deeper into our sets, and we just lost some of our patience, and they just dug in. So, but they're every coach in the ACC has said this after they've played Florida State, that they think they're a Final Four team, and I think they are. They are really talented this year.
Notre Dame came rolling in here, kind of a similar story.
Right.
Again, you went into the locker room down 1, had the lead in the third quarter, kind of went eyeball to eyeball with one of the great teams in the country, and they just made a few more plays.
Well, both teams kind of wanted the game to be ugly. We were surprised that it was ugly, but our defense was making it ugly. So when I talked to their coach after the game, and we both had the same assessment like that, we were surprised it was ugly because it's 2 great offensive teams. But really, the assistant coaches and the game plan and the scout really disrupted both teams. I mean, we turned them over for their high on the year. They turned us over. We couldn't hit shots that we normally make. They couldn't hit. But a lot of it was that both teams knew what that game meant, and it was a commitment on the defensive end. They just got on their little run in that third quarter where they turned our turnovers into points, and we turned them over and would honestly miss at the rim the layup. And so there was an 8-point swing right there, which was just the way the game went, and we couldn't recover.
Your team has shown the ability to bounce back.
Yes.
And so you'll need that bounce back ability again with Virginia Tech coming up.
Yeah, undefeated Virginia Tech, which that is not, we have been handling that team pretty well in the ACC, and they've never come in here undefeated. So that's going to be a real tough task for us. They shoot the ball as well as any team in the country. They beat Tennessee, they beat Auburn. I mean, they're not a fluky undefeated team. They have gone and beaten people on their home courts, and so we got a tough task ahead of us. They would be rated higher, but everyone's kind of waiting to see how they'll do in the ACC. Well, they're undefeated in the ACC right now too, so they'll keep climbing up those charts, and we got to knock them down because this is a home game that we got to respond and win.
Does it help that you do have a veteran team coming off of a tough game against Notre Dame into this Virginia Tech game?
Well, I think so. I'll find out and see how we practice because it's one of those deals now where I kind of was warning them before Notre Dame. I could feel that we just didn't have the same focus, and we did, get back pretty late after a really long game at NC State that was just basically felt like 2 games. It really did. And we didn't recover emotionally from that. And I could feel it, but I couldn't change it. And I think our leaders need to step up and help me in that area a lot.
Then you get 2 more road games, surprise. Get to go to Louisville, tough place to go against a very good team, and then even further into the Northeast at Syracuse.
Right. I sometimes say, really? Seriously? Like, wow. There are teams in the country that wouldn't even have those 2 games on their schedule, and we just have, I mean, that's it. That's the ACC, and we've had 8 of them, 8 ranked opponents, and they're all in a row for us. So we just got to take care of business, and we absolutely have to protect our home court, and we haven't done that yet.
Sure does solve the RPI issues, doesn't it?
I know. I thought, we didn't really have to schedule that hard in non-conference with this conference being the way it is. We're all excited, though. Like, the league is proud of itself. You know, we beat the SEC, we beat the Big Ten, we beat the Big 12, we've beaten the Big East. I mean, all of us went outside of conference and beat people. So now when you throw us all in the same pot, it's just going to be which players played better that night, honestly, because they're great players in the league, and you know, someone needs to have a special night for us to beat Virginia Tech. Someone has to have a special night for us, and that's what it's coming down to, because the teams are so even.
And the crowd can make the home court a special night,
right.
So we look forward to that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. And our crowd has been loud and passionate, and now we got to show them how hard we can play. We've come home and been tired, you know, and haven't played. We've played flat, and there's no excuse for that. And I don't like a victim's mentality. We're going to change that. We're going to buckle up and show our home fans what we're all about.
All right, very good. The very best of luck against Virginia Tech and the road trip as well.
Yeah.
All right, that's University of Miami women's head coach Katie Meyer. Stay with us as we continue right here on Hurricane Game Day. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day, everyone, presented by Williamson Automotive. Both the men and the women have a busy schedule coming up. On the men's side, Jim Larenega's squad is 1-1 inside the ACC. Katie Meyer's team 2-2. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. For the women, they will take on Virginia Tech at the Watsco Center, and the men will be at home taking on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Then the men are on the road on Saturday for a 12 noon tip-off against Pittsburgh, while the women on Sunday will be at Louisville. The men continue their road trip. They'll be at Wake Forest taking on the Demon Deacons, and then going down to Durham to take on the Duke Blue Devils on Saturday, January the 21st. While the women continue their road trip, they'll be in the Northeast at the Carrier Dome to take on Syracuse. You can check out more details on our website at hurricanesports.com. Now, during the holidays at the University of Miami's bowl game, the Hurricanes entered a partnership with businessman Marcus Lemonis, announcing this fundraising campaign. Marcus Lemonis is challenging the University of Miami community and Hurricane fans to raise a total of $2 million to support University of Miami student athletes in their pursuit of excellence. Check out the website matchmarcus.com. Thanks so much for joining us here on Hurricane Game Day. For University of Miami head coach Jim Larenega and Katie Meyer, I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next time on Hurricane Game Day, and go Canes!